Welcome, Leo, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 18th of May for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. Going to share the big themes of the week ahead, first of all, then on screen, your adventure on Monday always provides an influential backdrop. I'll then go through each of the influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what you can expect upcoming this week in terms of your energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. We've got three big changes this week, Leo. The first on Monday involves Mars. Mars is the planet of action, but it's also the planet of desire and assertion, and it moves right to the top of your chart, the most visible area for the next 6 weeks. This is really going to throttle up your ambitions, whatever they may be, which you can embrace with even more passion. But on Tuesday, Venus, the relator, which has been in a very friendly part of your scope over the last near to 4 weeks, switches into a more reflective area. So there's a contrast. And then on Thursday, the sun moves into Gemini, bringing in Gemini season for the following 4 weeks, but then aligns with Uranus in a conjunction for the first time in this sign for 78 years. On the screen now is your event chart. Your ruler, the sun, right at the top of your chart, but come into the end of that near to 4 week journey. But if you recall, we had a super new moon last week, which did involve Mercury in Taurus as well. Taurus energy can be very single-minded, but that's a good thing. We really want something, we have to apply ourselves. But the moon is in the bubbly, effervescent sign of Gemini. So that brings a much more friendly vibe to the week too. But then on Tuesday, after Mars moves later on Monday into Taurus, and that's really asking you to take your ambitions truly seriously. The determination and grit that Mars brings can complement the energies of that new moon of last week. And if you like, drive on whatever goal it is you want to seize. But with Venus moving on Tuesday into the gentle Cancer and for you, your 12th house, that's quite intriguing because Mars is now in the most visible part of your chart and Venus moves into the most sheltered, but they're actually forging a perfect alliance on Tuesday. If you are wanting to connect with someone professionally, subtlety or discretion can be just as powerful as a full frontal approach. But also at the start of this week, Mercury is applying to Uranus. So thinking outside the box around any of your hopes will be important too. But what Venus moving into Cancer can bring up is if you haven't been enjoying a particular connection, friendship, or even close personal relationship, Venus could see you thinking very carefully about what to do. In the most extreme cases, it could be almost an immediate desire to end the relationship. Because when the sun moves into Gemini on Thursday, it too is going to come into a conjunction with Uranus on Friday. And because Uranus is very much about freedom, what breaks down does create an opportunity for liberation. But it's not something I necessarily think you're going to be too quick to make a decision on. Venus can help, along with Jupiter, just to give you a little bit of space to mull over your thoughts. However, if you're looking to bring a new, fresh dimension to your social interaction, the sun moving into Gemini is fantastic. But of course, Uranus being here is very futuristic, and the 11th house is about your long-term plan. It can also be about your higher purpose. So as much as Mars moving to the 10th house can give you more confidence and help you to strut your stuff, the energy of Mars here is not really going to work so well for you if the goals you're going for are not ones you really believe in. So some of your idealism could be tested a bit this week, to be honest. But as far as your social situation is concerned, by the end of the week, something very unexpected could have happened. There may also be a connection with someone from your past, either professionally or in a personal context. Now, I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next. But you can now order your personal horoscopes and get three for the price of one. The one you order is your life roadmap report. Helps us to understand the patterns that are played out in our lives so far, get a more intimate understanding of them. But free, you get your 12 months transit forecast and also your karmic draconic analysis, which is very different to natal astrology. And if your North Node is not late in Pisces or early in Aries, your chart can change quite significantly. Please see below for more. If you've yet to watch your Uranus 78-year solar return Cassini video, that's on the screen. If you've yet to watch your uh, May monthly forecast, that's on the screen. If you'd like to work with me directly, Leo, absolute pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. If you get to take advantage of my free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning, please see the link below for that. Get your early day celestial pit stop. And on the screen, you can see Mars into that 10th house is significant as far as your career. If you have good relationships with the people you work with, I think it could be a time of real progress, particularly if you work in at some kind of team environment, but where you can really demonstrate your leadership skills. When it comes to your romantic situation, it could be a lovely connection at the start of this week because Mars and Venus are in a sextile. They then both move. The sextile is absolutely perfect on Tuesday, but it would need to be, I feel, in a deeper relationship, one where there is more of a spiritual connection. Because if you're not quite sure about your love life at the moment, the chances of you breaking free and re-entering the more social side of your situation is very strong. As far as your energy is concerned, I think Venus moving into the 12th house does suggest, despite all this very electric, exciting energy socially, there may be some times when you will want to just retreat a little bit and perhaps do something more artistic or creative, or if you have a hobby that just gives you a bit of a contrast from all the hyper energy that the Sun with Uranus will create this week. As far as finances are concerned, I think that you have a really strong hand because Mars is going to give you a lot more self-belief over the next 6 weeks. So whatever you're trying to do go for it and go for it in a wholehearted way. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Have a great week and see you again soon.